and accused Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, whereupon it was her responsibility to take measures to prevent the atrocities in question, which continued for about a month. She did not also take any punitive measures against the perpetrators. In the like way, Home Minister Asaduজ্জামান Khan Kamal held superior command responsibility over the Inspector General of Police and other successive other officers, and as such he had the superior command responsibility to prevent all of them from committing the atrocities and for taking punitive measures against the perpetrators. Thus, both the accused, Asaduজ্জামান Khan Kamal and Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, they committed crimes against humanity by their abatement, that is facilitation, and their failure to prevent the atrocities committed by their underlings, and hence they are liable to be punished under section 32A, 32G, 32H, 41B and 43 of the International Crimes Tribunals Act. Accused Sheikh Hasina is liable to be punished under section 32A, 32H, 41B and 43 of the International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973. It is obvious from the facts and circumstances delineated herein before that the law enforcers and the activists of ruling party Awami League, as well as its affiliated organizations, targeted the unarmed civilian protesters countrywide and accordingly attacked them. Therefore, in all the above discussed atrocities, the elements constituting crime against humanity have been fulfilled. The victim witnesses, the other witnesses and the investigating officer held the accused Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, accused Home Minister Asaduজ্জামান Khan Kamal and accused Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun liable for the atrocities. It may be mentioned here that Mr. Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, Inspector General of Police, has been tendered pardon on his application pursuant to section 15 of the Act with a view to obtaining his evidence. He is supposed to have been directly or indirectly concerned in or privy to any of the crimes specified in section 3 on condition of his making a full and true disclosure of the whole of the circumstances relative to the crime and to every other person concerned, whether as principal or abettor in the commission thereof. According to subsection 2 and 3 of section 15, he has been examined as a witness and detained in custody until today. It appears to the tribunal that he made a full and true disclosure of whole of the circumstances within his knowledge relative to the crime and to every other person concerned, both as principal and abettor in the commission thereof. He categorically admitted his involvement in the alleged acts and disclosed that a core committee consisting of Home Minister Asaduজ্জামান Khan Kamal himself used to hold meeting every day at the residence of accused Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal to take decisions as to the necessary measures to face the movement of the students and to pass the instructions and to pass necessary instructions. He said that accused Prime Minister used to pass directions to the core committee in this regard. This accused also said that Sheikh Hasina directed them to use drone to trace the location of the protesters and to use helicopter and lethal weapons to kill the protesters. He mentioned that chain of command in the police service was not maintained. In most of the cases, the highest authority used to communicate or contact the mid-level officers like Additional Commissioner Harun Rashid, Additional Commissioner Monirul Islam. Accused Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina passed the direction in presence of Additional Deputy Commissioner Praloy Kumar Joardar during a core committee meeting. And as such, Joardar conveyed the direction to all the concerned officers throughout the country. Direction means the direction to use helicopter and lethal weapons as well as drones. Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamun also mentioned in his testimony that he had a clean image and track record throughout his service for long 36 years. There had been no allegation against him during his long tenure. He said that he feels remorseful and ashamed on seeing the atrocities in the videos displayed in the courtroom. He sought apology to the tribunal and to the people of the country. Although accused Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamun claimed to have made full disclosure of the circumstances, and we do also believe that he made a full and true disclosure. But the offences he committed and admitted is punishable with the capital sentence. And as such, in consideration of his disclosure and the gravity of the offences, we do incline to convict him and award him a lenient sentence, which will be declared later on. By the aforesaid acts and omissions, the accused committed crimes against humanity under section 3, 2A, subsection G, clause H, 41, 42, 43 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973, as stated before. Accused Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal remained in abscondence ab initio, despite the fact that notices and warrants were duly served in their given address according to law. Moreover, they were asked by publishing notice in 2 daily newspapers to appear and contest the case, but they did not turn up. Thus, their abscondence itself is suggestive of their guilt. The learned State Defence Council contended that the trial of the accused persons under the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 is not tenable, since the Act was passed in the Parliament for the purpose of trial of the criminals of war of independence in 1971. While arguing this, the learned State Defence Council perhaps did not have a refusal of the provisions of the Act as well as the preamble thereof. The preamble of the Act says that the Act was made in order to provide for detention, prosecution, and punishment of the persons for genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other crimes under international law, and for the matters connected therewith. Section 3 of the Act provides that the said crimes committed both before and after the commencement of the Act, before 1973, after 1973, are triable by the International Crimes Tribunal, whereupon the contention of the learned State Defence Council is not tenable in law. Moreover, Article 47 of the Constitution of Bangladesh has given upper hand to the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 over the Constitution itself. The State Defence Council also contended that for the purpose of proving atrocities throughout the country, witnesses from all over the country have not been examined. In this context, we have to say that witnesses from many parts of the country have been examined, and they have adequately proved the atrocities in almost every part of the country. The victims, the family members of the dead and injured protesters, as well as the eyewitnesses, gave their testimony, which are enough for the proof of the charges. Quantity of witnesses is immaterial, while there are a small number of qualitative witnesses. Still, the number of 54 witnesses examined by the prosecution is not small. The learned State Defence Council also alleged that the audio conversations in question have not been examined by more than one department like CID. In this regard, we would hold that the genuineness of the report of CID has not been challenged, nor has the report been proved ingenuine, whereupon no other department was in need of holding further examination thereof. It is the further allegation of the learned State Defence Council that accused Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal did not incite or order the commission of the crimes against humanity as alleged, nor did participate in the commission thereof, and thus they deserve to be acquitted. The learned Chief Prosecutor, in course of summing up, asked for passing necessary order restraining Awami League from running activities as a political party. Although the prosecution depicted series of worse deeds of Awami League regime in the language of the prosecution, since achievement of independence of Bangladesh in 1971, the tribunal does not incline to discuss on this point, since this is not the issue of the instant case. It has come to the notice of the tribunal that accused Sheikh Hasina, in defiance of the orders of the tribunal to appear and contest the case, has given interviews in the media wherein she denied the allegations leveled against her in this case and also made some derogatory remarks. I have noted this aspect beforehand, but in some of her interviews, she impliedly admitted her superior command responsibility. The United Nations Human Rights Commission categorically stated in its report that the political leaders issued direct orders and other directives authorizing and guiding operations by BGB, RAB, DGFI, Bangladesh Police, and Detective Branch that involved serious violations of human rights against protesters and other civilian, including extrajudicial killings and arbitrary detention. It has been stated in the report that 1,400 people have been killed by use of lethal weapons during the July movement 2024. By the political leaders, the United Nations Human Rights Commission meant the highest government authorities. The authorities in question are unprecedented in the history of Bangladesh. The nature and extent of cruelty administered upon the protesters, inclusive of infants, women, and old, stirred the hearts of the people throughout the world. On seeing the scenario of dead and injured protesters and their outcry in the videos displayed in the courtroom, and also seeing the victim witnesses in the courtroom, for giving testimony, who lost their skull, eyes, nose, hands, and legs. Any human being will fail to be in the normal state of mind seeing such scenario. Such atrocities must be brought to an end at any cost. Justice must not fail. In view of all the above facts and circumstances and findings, it is hereby ordered that accused Sheikh Hasina be found guilty on 3 counts under charge 1. Count number 1, incitement. Count number 2, order to kill. Count number 3, inaction to prevent the atrocities and failing to take punitive actions against the perpetrators. And thus she is punishable, she is liable to punish under section 3, subsection 1A, section 3, subsection 2, clause G, section 3, subsection 2, clause H, section 4, subsection 1, clause B, and section 4, subsection 3 of the International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973 under the charge number 1. But we do hold that for all these 3 counts of crime against humanity, we do incline to award a single sentence, that is the sentence of imprisonment till natural death for under charge 1. Under charge 2, accused Sheikh Hasina is liable on 2 counts. On 1 count, there are several counts. For 1 count, that is passing the order for deploying drones, helicopters and using lethal weapons to kill the protesters. She committed crime against humanity under Section 3, Subsection 2A and Section 4, Subsection 1B of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973. She also committed the same crime crime against humanity on the second count, killing 6 persons at Sankarpur of Dhaka, which was committed in contemplation, in furtherance, by virtue of her order, as stated beforehand. And similarly, she committed the same crime, that is the crime against humanity, on another count for causing the killings at Ashulia of Sabar, killing of 6 persons. For all these 3 counts, we have decided to inflict her with only 1 sentence, that is sentence of death. Please. For
আপনাদের বিনীতভাবে অনুরোধ করছি আদালতের ডেকোরাম, ট্রাইব্যুনালের ডেকোরাম মেনটেন করার জন্য। আপনাদের যা উচ্ছ্বাস, যা এক্সপেকটেশন, যা প্রকাশভঙ্গি, সেটা আদালতের ট্রাইব্যুনাল রুমের বাইরে যে করলে সেটা আরো শোভনীয় দেখা যাবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ। প্লিজ সাইলেন্ট থাকবেন। Accused Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and accused Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun. Accused Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal is liable for committing crime against humanity for the occurrence of killing 6 persons at Sankarpur of Dhaka. In this occurrence, they are liable for committing crimes against humanity by their abatement and failing to prevent the atrocities, and also to failing to take necessary preventive measures, punitive measures, and thus Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal is held liable for the commission of crime against humanity under Section 32A, 32G, 32H, 41B, 43 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 for the commission of killing of 6 persons both at Sankarpur and 6 persons at Ashulia of Sabar, and for both the occurrences he committed 4 counts of offences, crime against humanity, 4 times, by his abatement and failure to take necessary actions in Sankarpur, by his abatement and failure to take necessary action at Ashulia. So for all these 4 counts, we have decided to award a single sentence of death to Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal. As regards Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, as I have elucidated before, he has contributed to the trial of this case by making full and true disclosure of the circumstances within his knowledge. Yet, he also admitted, and he was involved in all the occurrences throughout the 36 days of movement, considering both his contributions, his admissions, with the material evidences to the tribunal to arrive at the correct decision, and also in consideration of the gravity of the offence, we are both remitting his sentence and awarding a sentence with leniency. That is, the offences involve capital punishment. But for his contribution, we have decided to inflict him with the sentence of imprisonment for 5 years. The properties of accused Sheikh Hasina and accused Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal in Bangladesh be confiscated in favor of the state. The government is directed to pay considerable amount of compensation to the protesters concerned in this case, who have been killed in July movement 2024, and also to take measures to pay adequate compensation to the wounded protesters in consideration of the gravity of their injury and loss. The sentence shall be carried out in accordance with the provisions laid down in Section 20, subsection 3 of the International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973, preferably pursuant to the long-standing practice. Let a copy of this judgment be transmitted to the District Magistrate Dhaka for necessary action. Let copy of the judgment be supplied to accused Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun according to law. The absconding accused will not get any copy at the moment. So thank you all very much.